Hey guys, Gun Goober here. Today we're taking a look at my complete 416 build. It's a clone inspired by the 416A5. Starting at the front, we have a flow-through Huxworks 556 suppressor. Underneath is a 556 Huxworks flash hider. I always prefer the flash hiders on a 556 as opposed to the compensators. The barrel is an 11-inch House Manufacturing A5 type barrel with a 556 chamber. The gas block is a Nefarious Arms adjustable gas block. It has two settings, normal and suppressed. Although with the flow-through suppressor, I'll probably keep it on normal. 416 barrels of this length are usually 10.4 inches. However, with the adjustable gas block, they have to be a little longer, so this is an 11-inch barrel. That way you don't have interference between your muzzle device and the adjustable gas collar here. The rail is a Geissele Mark 15 HK416 specific M-LOK rail. It says 10.5 inches long, but it's actually about 9.75 inches. You have to be careful with the Geissele rails that are for the 16. They also have a 416 rail that is supposedly 14.5 inches, but it actually measures 13.5 inches in length. As far as I know, all of the AR-15 rails that they make are the length that they say they are. One other notable feature about the rail is that I believe this is the first rail that Geissele made with reinforced steel QD sockets that are now present on all the new production Geissele rails. Under the rail, there's an HK operating rod and Brownell's Bren 4 gas piston. The front sight is a Knight's Armament in their taupe FDE-ish color. I removed the front sight in the Unity mount, and I can use the rear aperture with the front sight. On the rail, there's a BCM M-LOK vertical grip, and on the rail I have a knockoff Magpul rail protector. The upper is an HK416A5 upper that you can see in my other videos. The red dot is a Ranger wrapped Aimpoint T2 on a Unity 2.26 height mount. The extra height of the 416 isn't too much, and it's not too noticeable between this height and a normal AR-15 height. I do have a 3x magnifier and a Unity mount that I do mount here when needed for competitions or longer range shooting. The dust cover is an H&K RAL 8000 dust cover, and I'm using a Geissele Airborne charging handle. I might swap it with a regular Geissele charging handle instead because the Airborne has smaller handles and the 416 has a very beefy recoil spring, so it might be nice to have more leverage with the regular Geissele charging handle. However, the smaller Airborne is technically more clone correct. Inside, there's a Brownell's BRN4 bolt and carrier. The lower is a Specialized Tactical Systems HK416A5 clone lower. It comes unmarked due to trademark law and stuff, but you can have it engraved with the proper markings. They also Cerakote the lower and try to match the anodizing of the real parts just like the upper. It's a close match, but the two coatings interact with light differently, so sometimes you can see it, sometimes it matches really great. The mags I like to use are these Magpul Medium Coyote Tan Generation 3 magazines with the window. I had some issues with other mags and even older Gen 3 PMags not dropping free from the magwell. However, STS says that they did have a specific issue with my batch of lower, and that is now corrected, and so future orders shouldn't have the same issue. I am considering switching to the new Magpul T-Mags when they come out, because if they drop free, they resemble the transparent HK magazines very closely. The bolt release is ambidextrous. You push up to lock it back, and push down to drop the bolt. The magazine release on this side is completely standard. The trigger guard is an H&K RAL 8000 416A5 type trigger guard. The trigger is a Geissele 416 specific trigger. I might have preferred the H&K trigger because you can put those on safe even with the hammer down, but the Geissele is more readily available and offers a higher quality trigger pull. The safety is an H&K metal safety drum with the plastic RAL 8000 levers on either side. I like the H&K safety. It's a 90-degree throw and it has an extremely positive on and off. It's impossible to get it stuck between safe and fire. I had to file this side down because the lever was so long and it dug into my hand, but because it's plastic, it's easy work with a Dremel. The grip is an H&K RAL 8000, their version 2 grip. I think they have a V5 and a V7. They both have storage compartments, and the V7 has swappable grip panels just like a VP9 pistol, but this old V2 is just hollow with a slight palm swell. This pin back here is specific to the 416 A5, and it is a special type of buffer retainer where they use a pin to hold it in instead of just the buffer tube. The buffer tube is a Geissele Desert Dirt color tube. I think it matches the H&K colors nicely. The castle nut and end plate are both H&K. The castle nut has additional holes in it in addition to the normal crenellations that you would use to tighten it. I believe they use a special tool at the factory in HK that interfaces with these holes, but you can tighten it just like a normal castle nut with these other ones that are designed for regular AR-15 castle nut wrenches. The stock is an HK 416 slimline stock in RAL 8000. The QD cup is an aftermarket part made by Tier 1 outfitters. They call it the SLS QD, slimline stock QD. On this side of the rifle, you can see the ambidextrous magazine release, the enlarged bolt release, the fencing for those controls. I have not yet had an issue dropping the magazine from this rubbing up on my gear. And finally, we have the Surefire Turbo Scout Mini. This light is the perfect weapon light. The cone of brightness it produces is oppressive to be on the receiving end of, and it throws a tight beam out where you would want it for use with a rifle. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Thanks for watching.